I'm married to my husband for 20 years, noticed condoms missing from his stash. How do I confront him? I, 40F, have been married to hubby, 44M, for 20 years, together 25 years, high school. He left on a trip with our eldest daughter, 21, to his home country, while I stayed home due to work and school obligations. They are due to come home in a few days, but my daughter flies in 2 days before her dad. Out of a feeling, I checked my husband's toiletry bag the night before he left to see if he packed any condoms. He didn't. Then I checked the stash and there were exactly 10, same as I last checked a while back. The next day I left to work while he was still packing. When I came back he was done and I took them both to the airport. Yesterday I thought to check the condom stash again and lo and behold there were only 5. My first thought was to confront him over the phone and I almost did, but my daughter and his aunt were in his vicinity when I called, so I hung up instead. He sensed I had an issue because I said I wanted to ask him something to call me when he was alone. He didn't call back at all, not even to say goodnight. He didn't call me until the next evening while other people were around. We only use condoms when I have an issue with my birth control and have not been consistent, which was a few years back, so I thought that stash was old and not replenished. I'm now wondering, is he replenishing the stash with new ones? He must be intending to cheat on me if he is prepared. In all of our years together he has never been found to be unfaithful, although I had my doubts many years ago. I have always been faithful to him. What should I do to confront him without him hanging up on me or gaslighting me? I want to see his facial expression on FaceTime. Or do I confront him when he gets home? Will confronting him now likely prevent him from cheating on me, especially those 2 days when my daughter flies back home and he stays? The damage is already done though. How should I confront my husband about this? TLDR, my husband of 20 years went on a trip out of the country while I stayed home and I noticed condoms missing from the stash. How do I confront him? Throw RA so that my family doesn't find out. Update. After some advice, I decided to confront him in person when he got home. However, in one FaceTime conversation he asked me why I don't seem like I miss him. I let on that I was upset because something was missing from the home. He shrugged it off and said, "There you go," as if I'm starting something. We then hung up. We didn't talk about it again. He came home and at first I acted normal, then I confronted him when the time was right. I asked him why there were condoms missing from his stash. He acted like he had no idea what I was talking about, then gaslit me for an hour and a half. I went through all his bags, which he hadn't unpacked, and found nothing. Mind you, he doesn't let me go through his stuff, so I found it odd that he let me check everything. He had this weird smirk on his face that he was trying to hide and kept persisting and trying to hug me. Then he turned it on me saying that I always try to start things about everything, that I didn't miss him but he missed me, etc. I didn't want nothing to do with his touch and pressured hugs. He told me to drop it, he doesn't want to talk about it. I told him he just wanted me to sweep it under the rug. I told him that I realized that is how he has gotten away with things I confronted him with in the past, but never had full proof. Well, I'm not a little kid anymore. Then he said, "I know what's going on." I said I need to hear the truth from him. Finally, I convinced him that the only way we could resolve it is with honesty. With that jokey tone and smirk he asked if I will drop it and just hug him if he tells me the truth. I reiterated that the only way we can ever get past this is with honesty. He finally admitted that he took them with him. He tried to give a BS excuse that his bags are always packed with them. I shut that down with the fact that they came directly from his stash that was in another bag, left home. Then he tried to say it was instinctive. I called him out on that BS and asked where the heck are they now. He said he threw them out in the hotel because he panicked after I implied on a phone call with him that the reason I'm not acting like I miss him is because I'm mad that I noticed something missing from our home. He said he didn't want to get caught with them, so trashed them. I said he used them. He said, when did he have time? I asked when did he think he would have time. I pointed out that he was thinking he's slick, but he got caught and could have just bought them over there. Then he pointed out that they were old and we don't even need to have them cause we don't use them. So I said, They are probably not as old as you say. You probably replenish them, cause why would you want to use old condoms with a random stranger? What's the point? I also opened one right in front of him, and it felt fresh and lubricated. I wonder how long he has been doing this for. Now that I think about it, there were 10 before he left, but a while back when I checked before, he was traveling out of state without me. I think there were 12. But I wrote that number in the back of a mirror, which I no longer have. The number 10 I wrote in a notebook so that I remember and couldn't be gaslit. I want to leave, but don't want to go to family. I'm considering a hotel, but I would have to wait until he leaves the house first. I want to be strong and let him know this is not a joke to me. I don't support infidelity. I also don't want the kids to know what's going on right now. Trust was obviously gone for me for a while. Can I ever gain that back? TLDR, I 40F confronted my husband 44F of 20 years about some missing condoms, and he gaslit me, then asked me to just drop the subject and act like everything is okay. My wife, 30 years old, 5 years marriage, confessed lately that she's been feeling strong limerence towards a coworker and she hates herself for it. Is my marriage over? My wife and I have been happily, at least me, married for 5 years. We dated for 4 years before marriage, and it was a very exciting time. Basically, we had a lot of sex and enjoyed each other's company so much. We were best friends and crazy in love. At least that's what I experienced. The last 2 years of marriage were tough. Trying and failing to have a baby, 2 consecutive miscarriages, and a loss of a loved one all had a toll on our physical and mental health. However, we remained very much close and supported each other. Lately, I sensed my wife was distancing away from me, and she suddenly decided to put on hold trying to have a baby until she figures herself out. After I insisted on answers, I'm part of the baby project, she admitted to have lost sexual interest and attraction to me since at least a year, and she have often forced herself to have sex with me for the sake of baby. She was terrified of saying anything on her own, and she's been seeing a therapist without me knowing. After several nights of constructive conversations, where I recommended starting couple therapy, she said that what made things worse for her is a strong limerence she has been feeling towards a new coworker who started 4 months ago, and she is unable to stop fantasizing about him. She swears that she has been trying to avoid him, but to no avail. I know there is no affair, because she always comes early from work, and we stay together on holidays and weekends. But I have this nagging feeling that my marriage might be over, and no couples therapy can save it. I am heartbroken and feel betrayed. Update 1. Updates. We've been talking a lot openly and constructively with many emotions involved. She still says she does not know if she wants to end the marriage, and she hasn't made her mind up, but it is still a possibility. She is afraid of the consequences and potential regret afterwards. She often asks me if I'm willing to live with someone like her who doesn't love me as I love them, and if I want to live a sexless marriage. She asks if I'm willing to miss out on life, sex, and love just because of her. She thinks she doesn't have the energy to see couples counseling, and she isn't totally convinced that it will help. She refuses to change jobs, at least for the foreseeable future. I know she has invested a lot in it, and she is one of the most devoted employees there, with a bright future with the company. Also, she feels like her coworkers and boss are her second family, and it would be extremely difficult for her to quit. She firmly insists that nothing is going on between her and the coworker, no texting, no flirting, no one-on-one meetings, and very minimal contact, only when other employees are around. She believes that even if we divorce, there is not even a slight chance for a viable relationship with the coworker. She says the latter also chose to distance himself and apologized to her on his unprofessional behavior. She said she wants space again, without questions from me or pressure for a while. We decided to take time away from each other, with no contact unless necessary, to reflect and heal a bit for 1 week. I'm at home and she is staying with her relatives who live nearby. From my perspective, things are still going in the direction of divorce, which I don't wish to happen, at least until we try to shake things up and see couples counseling. If it doesn't work after that, then I will seek divorce. But I don't want to live my life thinking that we could have done something. Update 2. 2 weeks have passed since my wife and I separated. She calls me daily to check on me, and we both feel emotional and sometimes cry. She returns home tomorrow but still feels lost and undecided about what she wants. She longs for our good old days, but also says she has been feeling empty and unhappy in our marriage for quite some time. I still insist that we can fix things and bring back the attraction and emotional connection we once had. It takes effort and commitment to make things work, even if they don't eventually. I have been seeing a marriage counselor who assured me that things might still work out and we can be a happy couple again, but it requires commitment from both of us. She tells me that she feels deadly guilty and miserable for putting me in this dire situation and breaking my heart and my trust. She now thinks she was never a good partner to me and was rarely excited to do anything she wanted with me, especially after the marriage. She told me about her dreams, fantasies, and things that excited her in a relationship, but for some reason, she has always felt that I wasn't the one she wanted to do those things with, and she hated herself every day for it. She says, "I am a fantastic person with all the great qualities a woman wants in a man, being loyal, caring, gentle, romantic, loving, and so on." Still, she has always felt an emptiness inside her and that something was missing to make her fulfilled. She thought a baby might be the cure to this, and the 2 miscarriages made her profoundly depressed and devastated. She is afraid of divorce for social reasons, and she doesn't want to end up alone, but at the same time, she is also afraid of breaking my heart again if things do not work out. As for her feelings for the coworker, she says that she had no control over them, and they just happened out of the blue and made her feel young, desired, excited, and euphoric like a 16-year-old teenager. She says she hasn't had such feelings in many years and missed them. However, she swears to me that no actual affair is taking place, that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with that guy, and that she doesn't want to shit where she eats. She said that she told me about her limerence because it was a sign to her that our marriage was unfulfilling and dysfunctional, and wanted us to be honest and transparent. I am still super confused right now. I love her so much and miss her so damn much. I can't stop thinking about her and us as a couple. I still can't fathom the fact that this might be over. I still can't imagine myself with another woman and her with another man. I can't believe this is happening to me. Never imagined it in my entire life. I always felt she was the one. I want a divorce to relieve myself and her from any further pain, but I wish we could agree to fix things, many contradictory emotions at the same time. I'm exhausted, sick, and emotionally drained. My wife is limerent to a coworker. She blames me. I have posted on other subs about my marriage and how it is falling apart after my wife confessed about being limerent to a coworker and having intense feelings towards him. She has been unhappy in our marriage for at least a year. We have been together for 9 years, married for 5 years. Although she says I'm a good and decent husband, and I know I am, she blames me for what happened. I love her so much and want nothing more than for her to be happy. I have been loving, caring, romantic, and providing on all scales: financial, social, emotional, and sexual. At least that's what I would like to believe, and I have a lot of evidence to support it. I'm not saying her feelings are not valid, they are. I have many flaws, but who is perfect? I can be annoying, clumsy, and passive at times. I can be forgetful and irresponsible about some stuff, but who isn't? I'm working on myself to change. She, too, has a lot of flaws that make me go nuts. But I have never thought about hooking up, cheating, or befriending women I find attractive. She was and still is the only woman I have been with for 9 years. In my eyes, she is the sexiest woman in the world. And I tell her that, and I behave as such. I have always supported her dreams and tried my best to fulfill her wishes. She makes me feel like the luckiest man in the world. She knows all that and acknowledges it. I've put myself second to her and have even rejected high-paying job offers that required constant traveling and moving towns to start a family with her. I wanted that. I prefer family to work. We have no kids yet. We had a tough 2023 with 2 consecutive miscarriages and fertility issues. She has felt empty, invisible, and worthless for many years, she says, even before we got together. Something that I did not understand until she was diagnosed with depression. She also feels our marriage had many problems and made her unhappy. I now know that it had a major communication problem. She tends to avoid conflict as much as possible with everyone, not just me, and has never spoken to me about any issues until she exploded now. She never communicated her unmet emotional needs, and she doesn't know what they are. When I ask her about her emotional and sexual desires and fantasies, she always replies, "You are my favorite fantasy." Obviously, I wasn't. This new coworker came in 4 months ago, and she fell hard for him. No affair is going on, and I have solid confirmation. She is limerent for him, and her feelings are getting stronger daily. She confessed it. He makes her feel intense emotions, desirable, and somebody when she is around him. She believes he is perfect even though I'm better looking, BS. She felt this with me at the beginning of our relationship. But when things have calmed down as they should, she thought we have failed and love has died. She insists of having no intention of leaving me for him, but I wouldn't bet on that. Anyway, she feels super guilty and shameful and blames me for this turmoil and her limerence. And I don't know what to believe or what to do. After months of drama and misery, where I was caught off guard by my wife when she suddenly put our baby project on pause, I filed for divorce. She does not love me anymore and has been not satisfied with the marriage for the past 2 years, as she puts it. She finally confessed to having an affair with her coworker that stretched for a little more than 3 months, after which it was paused so she could figure herself out. She finally said she did not want to work on our marriage because she obsessively wanted to be with the other man and initiate a relationship with him. So that's it. A 9-year relationship, 5-year marriage, ended in the most horrible way for me. The woman I thought would be my lifelong lover and partner betrayed me and dumped everything we had and might have had together to be with another man. I hope she will be happier. I really do wish her the best.